mile away. We know the year of 1900, children many years ago.
Good evening. I'm Jessica Monroe here bringing you the 11 p.m. news. Meteorologists at the National Weather Service in Monterey have been monitoring the tropical storm system that has formed in the North Pacific Ocean. The storm, now being called Tropical Storm Luther, is reported to have unusually high levels of winds, and according to meteorologists, has strong potential to become a Category 5 hurricane, possibly the most devastating hurricane since Katrina. However, this is still only speculation at this point in time. If Tropical Storm Luther becomes a hurricane and heads for California, a warning will likely be issued over the emergency alert system. Residents are advised to stay alert. Now, let's hear from Chris Decker in Sports News.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the National Weather Service in Monterey. At 7:50 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, it was reported that Tropical Storm Luther had attained hurricane status. The storm is reported as having winds totaling at 230 miles per hour. It is uncertain at this time if California will be affected by this storm. The National Weather Service will be monitoring the storm for any sign that it could affect the state. This could happen at any time. You are advised to stay tuned to your local news outlets so you can receive updates on this situation. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Governor of the State of California in conjunction with the California Office of Emergency Services. At 12:54 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, it was reported that Hurricane Luther was on a direct trajectory towards the west coast of the United States. This storm is an extremely dangerous Category 5 hurricane with winds recorded at being 230 miles per hour, with no indication that they will slow down. The storm is expected to make landfall in San Francisco in approximately 6 hours. Because Hurricane Luther will cause great devastation to the San Francisco Bay Area, the Governor of California has issued an evacuation order for the area, as well as for parts of Northern California, as the storm is projected to move through that area as well. This is not a mandatory evacuation, but it is strongly recommended. If you do not evacuate, you will be putting your life in danger. If you choose not to evacuate, it is recommended that you reinforce your home against the storm if it is possible in any way. Your local news outlets will provide you with steps you can take to protect your home. This storm may intensify at any time, so continue to monitor your local news outlets so you can receive updates on this situation. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, in conjunction with the Oregon National Guard. Hurricane Luther, an extremely dangerous Category 5 hurricane that has caused severe devastation to several cities in Northern California, is reported to be on a direct trajectory with Oregon. The storm's winds are reported to have increased to 270 miles per hour, with storm surges measuring between 20 to 30 feet. Due to the devastation that this storm has caused to California and the projected devastation that it will cause to Oregon, FEMA has issued an evacuation order for the entire west coast of the state. Everyone living west of Interstate 5 is ordered to evacuate as soon as possible. Cities that are in the path of Hurricane Luther include, but are not limited to, Medford, Roseburg, Eugene, Springfield, Junction City, Brownsville, Salem, Beaverton, and Portland. The Oregon National Guard is being dispatched to all of the aforementioned cities to oversee evacuation efforts and ensure that they are carried out in an orderly manner. You are ordered to follow the instructions given to you by the National Guard to ensure that evacuation efforts go as smoothly as possible. Do not panic. Panicking will only make things worse. Please stay tuned to your local news outlets so you can receive updates on this dangerous situation.
Good evening. This is Jason Hill bringing you an update on Hurricane Luther. Many people are saying that Luther is the most destructive hurricane since Katrina, and for good reason too. Luther first made landfall in San Francisco, California, and has carved a path of destruction throughout the states of California and Oregon. Portions of Northern California have been left uninhabitable, and many smaller towns have been completely destroyed. The scariest part of this hurricane is that it only seems to get stronger as it progresses. If anyone out there thinks you can weather the storm, you are dead wrong. We will be going off the air soon so we can get to safety. Please, everyone, just get out.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Hurricane Luther, an extremely dangerous Category 5 hurricane that has caused severe devastation to the states of California and Oregon, has reportedly crossed into Washington. Though the hurricane has been reported to have changed course back towards the ocean, several populous areas remain in direct path of the storm. These areas include the cities of Vancouver, Longview, South Bend, and Raymond. It is likely that these cities, as well as most of the coast, will be completely destroyed. FEMA is issuing an evacuation order for all of the following counties: Skamania, Clark, Cowlitz, Wahkiakum, Lewis, Pacific, Thurston, Mason, and Grays Harbor. This is a mandatory evacuation. If you live in any of the aforementioned counties, evacuate now. The Washington National Guard will be overseeing evacuation efforts. Designated checkpoints are being established to ensure that evacuation is carried out in an orderly manner. To learn where your county's designated checkpoint is located, tune into NOAA Weather Radio on Public Alert Channel 7. Public Alert Channel 7 will also be broadcasting all other necessary evacuation information. This message will repeat in 1 minute. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Please stand by for a message from FEMA Administrator Brock Long.
Good afternoon. I am addressing the American people today in the aftermath of an event that can only be described as hell on earth. Over the past week, Hurricane Luther, a storm the likes of which the United States had never seen before until now, has left most of the West Coast in ruins. In California, San Francisco and most of the surrounding areas have been greatly damaged, with portions of Northern California now uninhabitable. But the worst damages occurred in Oregon and Washington. In Oregon, close to 70% of all areas west of Interstate 5 have been severely damaged, if not destroyed completely. The city of Portland has also been almost totally destroyed, with only a small portion of the city avoiding the wrath of Hurricane Luther. In Washington, 4 cities, Vancouver, Longview, South Bend, and Raymond, have been devastated completely, along with most of the Washington coastline. Truly, this is the most devastation I have ever seen caused by one hurricane. I am advising all evacuees from all 3 states affected by Hurricane Luther to not return home. Many dangers to the public, such as power outages, debris, and, in some places, contaminated food and water supplies, still exist in those areas that were affected. Sadly, for some of you, there might not be a home to return to. President Trump has given FEMA the go-ahead to begin reconstruction efforts as soon as possible, and I will be personally overseeing this project for as long as I am able to. Because the damage to all areas affected is so great, it will probably take several years for life along the West Coast to return to normal. Many of our hearts are hurting in the aftermath of this crisis. But we, as Americans, need to come together if we are ever to rebuild what we have lost. There will be a great deal of hardship and uncertainty on the road ahead. But we can overcome it. God bless you all, and God bless the United States.
That was an administrative message from the Federal Emergency Management Agency. This concludes all operations of the emergency alert system. All stations may now resume normal programming operations. Your government thanks you for your cooperation.
Wasn't that a mighty storm? Wasn't that a mighty storm in the morning? Well, wasn't that a mighty storm? It blew all the people all away. You know the year of 1900, children many years ago, death come howling on the ocean. Death calls, you got to go. Galveston had a seawall to keep the